Well, there you are again. Again. Charlie Greer podcast. Again, I do this every day. Today, was Marilyn Monroe murdered? Question mark. Huh? See? I don't know. I'm asking y'all. Could be. I mean, there's a lot of suspicious, weird. But yeah, Marilyn Monroe, the blonde bombshell. She doesn't change the world. Hi. Norma Jean Baker was her real name. Grew up in Hollywood. Like she was a Hollywood kid. Like her mom was a film cutter at like Paramount. A schizophrenic film cutter, I should say. Not pointing the finger, not mentally ill shaming or anything. But Marilyn Monroe, like, kind of grew up in an orphanage. I know where she was at this building, which is right near Paramount. Excuse me, it's hot. And yeah, young, attractive, got married when she was young. Get out of I get it. If I get married, I can move out of this orphanage. Yeah, you're going to get married. Black coffee. It is 7:53 in the a.m. Cheers. Black coffee, strong. I used to hate black coffee. Wouldn't drink it. But now, my lazy lard ass, I'll forget milk or half and half or some kind of creamer or whatever. And I wake up in the morning, you don't got any. I don't want to go run and get you to drink. It's happened so many times that I got used to black coffee. Now when I'm the sweet disease, want it black. So yeah, Marilyn Monroe had a reputation of like sleeping to the top. I mean, this is kind of I'm not speaking out of school. I mean, she shit. I might have done it too. I mean, I'm not trying. You never know. But movie star, became a movie star. Had a great, like, her kind of, had she nailed that. She was actually a really good actor and supposedly like smart too. She was smart, see? But yeah, bedded everybody. And not to talk out of school, but I met Tony Kerr. Again, he's not here to defend himself. And it was firsthand knowledge from him. Told me that Marilyn Monroe gave everybody STDs. That was the beginning of her downfall. He kind of seemed like he got something from. He was talking about he bedded Marilyn. Of course, they were in the movie together. Shit, she bedded everybody. The cast, the crew, That's what he told me. Again, I wasn't friends with Tony Curtis. It was one night that I rented him at the Rainbow of all places. But yeah, Marilyn Monroe. Then she starts supposedly dating the mob, JFK, RFK. So let's just start with like the mob. Do you really want to get clicked up with the mob, the Italian mob back then? That shit. I mean, I know it's exciting and you want, but come on, you already got a little bit of Hollywood money. I mean, see, or Hollywood and the mob, are they just like two-sided coin, same coin? It's probably. Sam Giancana, clicked up with Sam Giancana, friends with like Frank Sinatra. Supposedly was an in-between Sam Giancana and JFK. We know that her house was like wired. It's like sealed, but they've wired her house, and when she was hooked up with JFK. I read this book, or maybe I saw an interview, whatever, because I used to read a lot of JFK books. And JFK, when he was president, he was sleeping around. I heard that him and his Jackie were both swingers, so it wasn't no big deal. Like they both knew. But when he had Secret Service, like if you're a president, you go to another room. Like, dude's got to be right outside the door, So he would. JFK came up with this like way of having. He would use nautical terms, like a climb aboard, turn on your starboard side, huh? I mean, if that ain't gonna last too long, people are gonna figure out starboard side, climb aboard. Yeah, they're gonna kind of know. And then supposedly he passed her on to RFK, his brother, who I think they fell in love. Like RFK and Marilyn Monroe, they're gonna. But RFK had already had a wife and got how many kids? 8 kids, 6 something. You just can't be mixed up, especially when you're a Hollywood starlet. Like, man, you're so low on the totem pole of power, considering who you're dealing with. That's not good. You are. I mean, didn't they know they're being taped? Didn't they know this was coming? Don't you have any intuition? Don't you have any foresight? Can't you look ahead? Like, well, if I do this, this might. Or you just, I'm the movie star. I'm the king of the world. I'm the queen of the world. Whatever. Shit. And JFK, his father, Joe Kennedy, was all clicked up with RKO. Before, when he was a kid, shit, he was his concubine was Gloria Swanson. He helped run a studio back in the day, Joe. And then I heard that JFK wanted to be an actor, and they're like, "Oh no, we got bigger plans for you, man. You're not." Wonder how good of an actor he was. Oh, I do solemnly swear. He'd have to work on his voice if he's going to be an actor, or unless that would be his thing. Hi there, he had that Boston kind of weird Irish thing going on. John Jr., his son, wanted to be an actor and took theater and did play and everything. I heard he wouldn't, I don't know. But can you imagine wanting to be an actor? But no, you're in this, this family where you're going to be governor one day. So right around the time that Marilyn Monroe was found dead, supposedly, okay, this is the official story. She overdosed on barbiturates, which are sleeping pills, and took a lot of them supposedly. But when they found her, there's some weird kind of stuff. There's all these pills. There's a picture of a cop just pointing at the side of the bed with all these pill bottles. There ain't no drinking water around. That was another thing that's all suspicious. The first guys there were like, "Hey, she took all these pills. Where's her glass of water?" They've seen people die. There's a glass of water. There's soda. There's milk. Whatever it is. And then there wasn't any, pardon me, residue in her gullet. You take all those pills, there's gonna be a lot. There's gonna be undigested pills. None of that. And there's pictures of, man, she looked like she was beat up. I've seen those autopsy, but man, she was shit. And I know when you die, but fuck, hell, dying don't swell up your, shit. Oh, she was laying on her face. No, that she looked like she was just, God, you gotta. But supposedly, okay, JFK, the day that she died the next night. The day Robert Kennedy was at her house looking for a diary or something, a black book. This is documented, man. The night he died, a cop pulls over a car speeding through Beverly Hills or whatever on Wilshire or something, pulled him over. I was like, "What are y'all doing going 90 on Wilshire?" And about to write him a ticket. Oh, here comes RFK, sticks his head out. He's like, "Okay, mister. That's okay, no problem. Just go about your day." And then she's found dead that next day or that night, whatever it was. But there's some shady shit. Supposedly the day that she died, the next day, she was about to do a press conference, a press release, and just spill all the beans, and I'm gonna take all this shit down. And no, you're not. Don't you shouldn't have told people about your plans if you're gonna do that. If you're gonna do something like that, lie and first, my press conference about my new movie, and then you spill the beans. Oh, I'm sorry, don't tell people, publicists and shit, that you're gonna try to take down Come on, man. It becomes national security at that point. You know, again, it's a strange, mysterious world, and there's certain things. Okay, JFK, RFK, whatever they were doing, you know, you got to keep that on the down low, man. I mean, you know, gotta. And she's like, "Happy birthday!" Come on, what are you rubbing people's nose in that? Your enemies are like, "Oh, we'll use the, we'll set somebody up." That could have been if they have tapes in the recording. Some other person, like a Sam Giancana or something. I'm not saying, but he'd be like, "Hey, I want to know exactly on the minute what they're saying." Well, this is the perfect time to do it. RFK was there. We'll send in because there's a dude that admitted that he killed her with an enema full of like dope, and that was a thing that the mob did. Just give you an enema of straight up barbiturate. Hey, you're. I mean, granted, it's crazy. And she had all these weird psychiatrists, you know, Greenberg or Greenfeld, whatever his name was, who now they think he was all CIA clicked up or something, possibly. And mysteriously, like she signed over all her shit to him before this happened, huh? Oh yeah, that's gonna happen. My psychiatrist said I've only known for a year. Oh my God, he's so great. I'm just gonna give everything to him. That's suspicious. That's you know how much her estate makes to this day? Go in the t-shirts, it's a licensing alone. Forget about her movies, just Marilyn Monroe, everything. I mean, they license that type of shit. So again, it could have been twofold. Like, hey, we need some people close that we can trust. Here's this psychiatrist that, you know, he don't know we're basically controlling him. But that's another thing. They don't know, but that there are people pulling the strings and this and that. And she, the weekend before she died, she was at Frank Sinatra's hotel, like in Nevada or somewhere. And Sam Giancana was there. All these people, they know this now. Supposedly they were partying, like, you know, Hollywood party, especially back then. They shit. And maybe that's when she came up with this. Well, see, maybe they were telling her she was tired of being like the runabout, you know, like I'm tired of being like the in between, you know. Supposedly she was sleeping with JFK, RFK, and Sam Giancana at the same time, and she was like giving messages back and forth. That's not good. That doesn't last. There's no sustainability in that. All right. Hell, you're like a bag man by the way. Well, shit. Or bag woman, I should say. I'm sorry. You know, you don't want to be delivering bad news to the meanest dude in the world. Shit. Sam Giancana. Huh? No. No, didn't hear anything about saying no. You just, that's that again. The wicked tales they spit. I mean, come on, have a thought pattern, or maybe you can't. Maybe you're so doped up because she had problems. And Jeannie, what's her name? Her best friend Jeannie. I forgot. I'm sorry, my memory. But she claimed that Marilyn should have brought it down a few notches. Like, hey man, you can't be doing, you know. And then if you're doing a lot of barbiturates and drinking and this and that and the other, and you know, you're not thinking straight. And she was hard to work with. Supposedly she didn't like to bathe. She smelled. Again, this is secondhand. I've read this or watched it. You know, I don't know. You know, I'm just repeating what I saw on YouTube or a book I read. But smelly. I don't care how hot you are. And she was kind of back then. I mean, she was nowadays. She, you know, and I heard they had so many surgeries and taking the two of her ribs on each side to make her, you know, shit. That's what Hollywood used to do back then. I mean, they named her. She didn't name herself. Marilyn Monroe was some kind of dude at the studio that came with that. Norma Jean Baker is not going to be there. That was her real name. Marilyn Monroe's name was Norma Jean Baker. That ain't gonna fly in Hollywood. Norma Jean, no. Marilyn Monroe, there you go. In her mind, she's always Norma Jean Baker. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you're always gonna have those thinking about the orphanage, and that's just human nature. And difficult to work with. Like when I was talking to Tony, again, it wasn't just me and Tony. He was holding court at the Rainbow. There was like 10 of us. Sometimes it'd be more. Sometimes it would whittle down to 4 to 3. Sometimes, he said she would like just show up late, make people wait. Da, 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 da. She was fired from her last film because of this behavior. I'm Marilyn Monroe. Nah, well, shit, we're wasting money, man. We're wasting light. The light is shit. We've been here since 5 a.m. Huh? That kind of behavior. And my little experiences in the acting world, I saw some crazy shit. People being mean when they shouldn't be. Dude, how much are you making a day? And you're just calling people and this. I'll do a video about the worst people I've ran into. Some of them are just, who gives a damn? But again, she was difficult to work with. Probably going through, and she had mental problems. She would check herself in. If her mother was schizophrenic, then she probably had a little schizophrenia or manic depression or something. And just being a Hollywood actress and that anxiety, depression, panic. Are you eating enough food? Are you drinking too much? All you eat is pills and all you drink is booze. That's going to be a problem. That's going to lead to bad things. I mean, obviously. So she was not probably in her right mind. Again, people get, when you're living that life and you're sneaking around, sleeping with famous married, there's a whole excitement fetish kind of thing that people get into. Hell, there's websites just for people that cheat. I'm not going to name them, but you know what they are. That's it. I've met people that's basically their fetish. Like I can't get off unless I'm with it. Shit. No. That's going to lead to divorces. You're going to be called into court or whatever. You don't want that. So that day, supposedly, the day she died, RFK shows up with probably some mobbed up dudes, Secret Service, who knows, FBI, CIA, all shit we never even heard of, NSA. I mean, I don't know. Looking for a buck. You're not going to go. You're not going to be doing this press conference that she was going to do the next day. See, people don't talk about this. The press conference is probably what got her in trouble. You're not going to snitch on these people. Besting you not, lessing you want to die kind of thing. Like, shit. She should have known. Somebody should have pulled her away and like, hey, let's go, go. Or did they know? I mean, she thought that she was protected. Maybe it could have been a setup. Like, oh yeah, do that. That's what you want to do when they're going to make sure our RFK is at a certain time. And then we'll send, what's his name, with the enema full of, can you imagine doing that? Shit. For one, you'd need a couple people to help you out. I mean, that's not a one-man hit. I'll hold her down and don't bruise her up too bad. Maybe that's why she's bruised up, because she's fighting and I don't know. I mean, I've seen those pictures of poor Marilyn or Norma Jean. But Thomas Noguchi was his name. He was an LA coroner forever. They fired him, then he came back. I mean, and he did every kind of autopsy, anything. I mean, dude, he did all the most scandalous, he did them. Thomas Noguchi. And at first he said, like, I forgot what he put, like, oh, it's kind of suspicious. And they're like, no, hey, dude. And then he went, okay, over, But later on in life, he came forward. And he was like, look, there's all these, how can I say this kind of thing? Well, I mean, in the autopsy, we didn't find any pill residue in her belly. which is strange, which he was supposed to have taken like 90 fucking hard ass, 2 of those would blister you and knock you out. Took enough dope to kill 4 men or whatever. He was like, her colon was purple and swollen, like somebody had get like an enema full of poison or drugs, which is basically a poison. Later on in life, he said this. And I think he was he was kind of, hey, you better keep your mouth, unless you want to end up like Marilyn Monroe. He and other cops have come for like, dude, that's this. You see, people are, you think, but when you get older and you know this life, you only live one life. And when you're young, you think, I'll live forever. No, you're not. You get older, you start maturing, you're losing testosterone. As a man, you're losing testosterone. You're kind of like doing mental inventories, like, oh, what did I do? I better I'm just going to, again, you got to get that stuff off your chest, And if it wasn't true, why would Thomas Noguchi, the coroner, say anything? Why would later on in life, he probably had to get off his chest. He probably waited till Sam Giancana was dead and all that, just like, okay, now I can. But there's always going to be somebody, just because there's somebody always going to take over for something. You don't want to, because this is what these people do. They're good at what they do. That's where they got where they're at. And then when you got a little bit of like protection from not only your organization, but other just that shit, you're kind of untouchable. We used the mob to go. That's how we got Mussolini. Couldn't find him. And someday, hey, yeah, I'll fight. Send me over there with about 4 or 5 guys. So they did. And he was dead, hanging in the street. That's what the Italian mob, the Sicilians can do. The Black Hand, you don't want shit. Hey, we know Mussolini. We'll kill him. Shit, come on. We've always done that. The Bay of Pig, Vietnam, shit, probably to this day. They're probably military contractors now, or they don't have to. And if you grew up, like say in the Queens or Brooklyn or one of these Italian guys, and you've been a stick-up kid since you were like 12, then you moved up in the world and that's what you do. You're good at it. You become anything you do. Hell, you start knitting. Eventually, you're going to get good at knitting. That's what about life. If you're good at like that street gangster shit, you get good. It's easier. You're not as, sure at first you're like, oh my God, now it's fuck this, it's easy. Come on. It's hot. Pardon me. And poor Marilyn, man, nobody deserves to be murdered, even if they are about to expose, But maybe it was, think about it. Like, okay, we can't have her talking, but don't kill her, man. Just show up, be like, look, or cancel the meeting. There's other things you can do. So that tells me, this is what my gut tells me. Made an example. So others beware. You don't want to happen to you remember what happened to Marilyn kind of thing. Like, okay, I will. Because JFK and RFK just weren't, it wasn't Marilyn. Come on, dude. They were mowing through girls. That's what you do if you're one of those dudes. You're a sex addict. JFK had a back injury from like World War II or whatever he was in. And he had they called him Dr. Feelgood. And after he wrote a book or whatever, like every day, like I think it was 3 times a day, JFK would like shoot him up with fucking amphetamine. Get him going. And he was wearing a back brace. He had to wear his back brace. Matter of fact, when JFK was assassinated and they get the headshot, he's still kind of just up like that. And he didn't fall. Like usually something like that, you would just crumble like what was keeping him up was that back brace he was in. He's just kind of leaning, no, he that back brace was keeping him. If you notice, JFK did this rock to keep his back. He had a back problem. But then why are you sleeping up? Hell, sex, that's a lot of your back's gonna go out. Maybe it did. I mean, shit, come on. And again, this is not even third hand knowledge. This is speculation. Okay, I'm talking out of school kind of, but I wasn't there. I wasn't even born yet, and I have a curious mind. I like Marilyn Monroe. I like JFK. I like RFK. You know, JFK. You know, come on, got us to the moon. If we went to the moon, that's it. You know, watch my other "Did we go to the moon" thing. So, in conclusion, what I think happened was she was set up, of course, but they set up the set. You know, they knew something was going down, and that's the perfect time to send in, you know, some dude that. And there's a guy, I forgot his name, this Italian dude that claims he's the one that killed Marilyn with the enema. And I think he said this before it came out with Thomas Noguchi and all these other. And then he died. And what was his name? It was something stupid, like a typical mobster. But that's the kind of guy you would send, or guys you would send. And we're talking about they're sophisticated, so they're going to have cops that are, you know, on the payroll or something, a stolen ambulance or a fake ambulance, a fake cop car, fake cops, fake ambulance, everything, or using real that are, see. And supposedly that's what happened. There was a first because she'd been, man, they found her and they didn't call the cop for hours. You know, and I think the head of the studio called the 911 or cops, like Jack Warner or something. Like, it's Jack Warner. Yeah, Marilyn Monroe's dead. Come on over. And there's neighbors said there was comings and goings, and there was a first cops that came, the ambulance, and then they left, and then they came back. Another set of maybe the real cops and ambulances. One cop that was there was or maybe it was one of the ambulance drivers later on in life. He wrote a book. He said he's there. These strange government-looking people came in. The guy had a leather, like a doctor satchel bag, whatever. Opened it up, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it should be fine," you know. And then he came in, whoop, get out of the way, and literally pulled out a huge syringe and like stuck it in her navel. I think he said it was. Again, this is a speculation. It could be. I'm not. You know, I'm just saying what this dude said, and I forgot his name. But something ain't right. My gut and intuition stuff. This is, matter of fact, this is one of the easiest to read because it's just textbook murder and setup and all that. You know, sloppily done. You would think that they would have some kind of better organization skills, but I mean, maybe they on the fly. You know, we got a 2-hour window. Come on, who's in LA? You know, I don't think that she did that. And they said it was like an accidental overdose. Like she accidentally took 90 pills. Accidentally. You know how long it would take you, how much water you need to, come on. How many pills can you swallow at a time? 2 or 3? I mean, shit, I can't. What, take you 15, 20 minutes just to, shit. Or did, you know, what's his face? Some little come in there and, you know, put something over her face and knock her out. And when the cops got there, like certain cops that have talked, they're like, man, the maid was there. She wasn't caring about this dead body. Marilyn Monroe, who's her boss, she was in the laundry room, like doing so much laundry. And they said they saw sheets that were all covered in fecal matter, and like she was just washing them, like getting rid of evidence right in front of them. They said it looked like it was been staged. The scene had been staged. And Marilyn Monroe, okay, she's a movie star. That house was small. Again, it's expensive. It's in Bel Air or Beverly Hills, whatever. But her room, and this is kind of typical star, it was just a mattress on the floor, like 2 mattresses, like a box spring and a mattress. Like there wasn't any nice furniture, like a little bed stand. That's it. There was nothing around. And they're like, oh, she just moved in. I get that too. But maybe she just was depressed. When you're depressed, you do shit like that. Last thing you're thinking is like, and depression like wears you down. I got the energy to move furniture, That just looks suspicious to me. Those whole, and they had to bust a window to get in, and come on, man. And the maid, I guess, noticed that her light was on. The phone was under the door. She thought she's usually asleep by this time. Couldn't get in. Went around to the window, peeked and could see, and seeing her laying there. Did she call the cops? She call an ambulance? No, she calls this psychiatrist guy who doesn't call the cop or whoever for like 8 hours or something. Like, what is that? That gives you enough time to scrub everything and just, make phone calls and what should we do now? RFK was supposed to be in San Francisco that day with his family, but they said that he took a helicopter to LA. I don't know. But supposedly the cops pulled him over and he was there that night. They let him go. They were speeding on Wilshire, like 90 miles an hour. I think something's up. I think that, and I also think we're going to find out about this. Eventually, all shit is going to be exposed. It's kind of already out there. Leave a comment. What do you think? Did they murder the biggest movie star to ever live? Perhaps. Maybe. We're just asking questions. But I do this every day. Be back tomorrow. I love y'all. Be blessed. Cheers.